that was a lot of baneling loss for very little gain. However, these 3 Marauders there stemmed. They're running for their life to get back to the natural expansion. This is too large of an army to defend. She needs to have more forces out. She does have a few, but she needs to get them down in this area right now. And the banelings coming, and they're being taken out, being destroyed by these Marauders. They do land on the Marauders, but this Marauders a little bit beefy. He's got some armor. He's able to take some of the damage. And these Roaches and Banelings now caught in between this choke point, not able to make their way through. The Banelings in the back, most importantly, not able to push through and not able to get where they need to be, which is against these Marines and against these Marauders. The Medevacs overhead just healing. And it looks like Peanut is actually firing on her own barracks. Peanut is firing. She must have misclicked. She must have had her unit selected, pressed A to attack, and then clicked on her own barracks. The Roaches underneath do eventually get destroyed, but not before this barracks is destroyed by Peanut's own forces. Now remember, guys, this is bronze level play. That was kind of funny. Remember, don't expect any kind of expert play here. Okay, that was pretty cool. Overall, despite the fact that she destroyed her own barracks, I like the way that she had that choke set up. That was a superior Roach and Baneling force that normally would have done a lot of extra damage if they were better microed by Pigdestroyer, but that gap was able to provide enough protection to allow just a handful of Marauders and Marines with some medevacs overhead to put a stop to those Roaches. So that was a very excellent SimCity from Peanut's part. And in case you don't know, SimCity is a Starcraft term, and yes, I know SimCity is a whole other game, but SimCity is also a Starcraft term, referring to a player's strategic placement of buildings, and that was some very good SimCity. It extended the choke of her ramp, because the choke was about the same size, so it extended the choke of her ramp and allowed her to much more effectively defend her natural expansion. We do see a second starport coming up now for Peanut and another barracks. So we've got a lot of barracks, a lot of starports, a couple of one factory with a tech lab on it, not producing anything just yet, but another hatchery going down now for Pigdestroyer. I don't think he should have picked up that expansion without first fully saturating this one and taking these 2 gas. He needs to get those 2 gas because he does have Lair Tech now and Aspire, and you really can't produce any decent number of Mutalisks off of just 2 gas. He's also building a spine crawler, for defense, I suppose, in the back of his base, even though Peanut's the majority of her attacks have been coming from the front. He does need to pick up, okay, he's picking up one of these gas, but he needs to pick up both of those gas and saturate that expansion, his natural expansion, completely before building up this, a whole other expansion. We do see some Mutalisks who rushed in and apparently were warded off by a couple of missile turrets. So he keeps trying to peck away at Peanut's defenses, try and get some harassment in, but he keeps being deflected, just as Peanut's early attacks were deflected by him early on. His continual attacks keep getting deflected as well, so we see some forces moving up to engage these Mutalisks. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we see some Zerglings and Banelings behind Peanut's base. The Mutalisks forced to run away. Oh, that poor Zergling running in at just the wrong time, like, hey guys, what's going on? Pow, dead. Oh man, it's like he was trying to deliver a pizza, except instead of a pizza, he was trying to deliver a payload of hatred. Lone Zergling hatred. I don't know where I'm going with this. So the forces of Peanut now just moving down onto this low ground, probably checking this area for an expansion as well. Medevacs trying to catch up. They were just moving away there. She's catching up her Medevacs. Overlords are gonna see that she's got some forces gathering up there. Banelings, Mutalisks, and Zerglings at the ready at this choke point. She does comsat this base to see whether there are any forces there. She does not see any forces there, so she's going to begin moving up. The medevacs are going to be able to zoom in close enough now to see some overlords, so she's then being able to get some some view on this high ground. She's able to pick off one of these overlords. Here comes some banelings in. The marauders that's the perfect positioning right there. The marauders are the ones that are going to absorb all the damage from the banelings. The banelings don't get as much damage in as Pigdestroyer would have liked. The roaches coming in, roaches and mutalisks overhead are going to be more than enough to take out this group of damaged medics, damaged marines and marauders. Well, not without putting up a fight though. Those roaches are taking some considerable damage themselves, but the medevac's now forced to run away as the mutalisks peck away at them. She needs to get some reinforcements. She needs to just cut straight across and get into her base and the protection of these Vikings and these turrets to protect those medevacs. Running instead to these stimmed marines, and the mutalisks are forced to retreat. This third expansion now up and running with a queen and got some drones, but idle drones. They were not rallied to the mineral point, to the minerals. And another expansion going down, going for a very heavy late game, hopefully macro game for Pigdestroyer, he needs to get some more forces out before he begins expanding. I don't think he's spreading himself a little bit thin. He's not going to be able to defend all of his expansions. Whereas Peanut's is just macroing up forces. Her forces now. She's also picking up in her starport. She's got a tech lab now. She's picking up the cloak ability for her Banshees and training up a couple of Banshees as well. So she's going to go for some harassment, and it's probably going to succeed because I don't see any detectors whatsoever for Pigdestroyer in his base. A lot of Zerglings being produced now, probably going to become Banelings and probably try and crash down into the back of Peanut's base. He's got several. That's really his only opening right now because he's got too many turrets. He needs to he needs to make some sort of attack. He needs to not let Peanut macro up like this. Peanut, on the other hand, doesn't know that he's got several expansions, and if she allows him, oh, she does know. She's got some Vikings over here, and it looks like they took out the Queen at this expansion, but the Zerglings were able to come clean that up, so that expansion is going to survive. She needs to begin taking out some of these expansions. If she allows him to get these expansions, up and running, he's going to be able to out-macro her in a very big way. But currently she has the superior army. All these Zerglings that's a very nice number of Zerglings, but it's not going to be enough to take out stimmed medevacs, stimmed Marines and Marauders with medevacs overhead, and a siege tank also moving out, headed over here towards this 10 o'clock expansion that doesn't have very much there. He's not going to saturate that. She knows that it's there, so he's not even going to pay too much attention to it. He needs to pick up this 4th gas, just like Peanut here needs to pick up her 4th gas as well. Not really. She's going for medevacs, Marines, and Marauders. She does not need a whole lot of gas for that. It's more vital that Pigdestroyer picks up his gas. She takes out this expansion over here. That expansion is gone. But meanwhile, the 6 o'clock expansion being harassed by these Banshees. Banelings and Zerglings do not have strong enough little tiny Zergling legs to jump up and attack air units. The Banelings coming in and destroying a number of buildings and a number of units, but not enough damage. There are no, well, except for these 3 Zerglings here, they're actually doing a pretty good job of harassing. There were no backup or reinforcement units to those Banelings, so only 3 Zerglings in Peanut's base, and Peanut now taking out the 6 o'clock expansion with not a whole lot to defend from Pigdestroyer. Peanut now pressing in against his natural expansion as well, taking out the small little paltry ground forces that he has spread about his base. These Mutalisks here still a minor threat, not necessarily to these Marines with Stimpack and Medevacs overhead, but to her base. She does have both exits of his base covered now. She does have him contained. She was looking to get a contain on him early in the game. It looks like she gets one late in the game. This one spine crawler here that has taken some damage somehow. I'm sorry I missed that as well. But a spine crawler here has taken some damage. It was able to defend his back door apparently because it is still up. He does have roaches and mutalisks watching his back door, but the front door is where he should have his attention with this force of that siege tank now sieging up, going to be able to shell that hatchery. This force of Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs now taking out the expansion. He needs to get his forces over here. Those roaches come in. They're going to be destroyed by that siege tank and all these Marauders. Here come these speed upgraded centrifugal hooked Banelings. They come in, they take out a lot of Peanut's ground forces while the Mutalisks overhead take out the Medevacs. So her ground force at the front here is going to be absolutely obliterated. Those Banelings doing a very good job of taking out her ground force, and the Mutalisks taking out the Medevacs. But the attack force in the rear now also coming in. She's forcing him to fight her battle now. She's keeping him pinned in his base. He does not have the macro to be able to produce 7 more units. She's going to be able to out-macro him. Here comes some Vikings. They're going to be picking away at those Mutalisks. Vikings normally not a very good unit against Mutalisks, but in this case, when there were so few Mutalisks, those Vikings were able to take them out. One Banshee getting taken out by a Queen. Should have cloaked it. There are no detectors. Stimming her Marines and Marauders. Now taking out the back of Pigdestroyer's base. This is probably going to be game. Broach Warren going down. Drones having to distance mine. There's the GG from Pigdestroyer with the little smiley face as well, little tongue smiley. Peanut GGing as well. That was a pretty good game. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.